Just think of it as the rough draft of the podcast world. This is the Newbie Writers Podcast with your hosts Damien, Boath, and Catherine Bramkamp.
Hey, this is episode 198, and we're back after the holiday break. Hope you had an average one. Catherine, how are you?
I am great. I had a very good holiday. We spent 2 weeks. I don't think my husband has taken off 2 weeks where he actually, for him, vacationed, which meant building a gazebo to park our extra car underneath. The only thing that would have made his holiday more complete is if he could get to the cement pouring. I think that was, big on his list of things to do. But we had a really nice time. We just had a really, really great, fun, friend-filled holiday, and it was nice.
Sounds like first world problems. When I got back to work, I had a lot of people sort of saying, Happy New Year. And I'd just say, oh.
You can always count on you for that.
Yeah. And it makes it that awkward moment of them going, oh, he's not going to say it back. Like,
oh, he's not happy.
No, I don't know. Look, I find that that whole time of year a bit sort of painful. As I've said to a couple of people before, it's a time of false niceties. You get together with your family who you never hang out with, and you're like, hey, happy Christmas, happy New Year, we should catch up. No, we won't.
Actually, what we do say is, oh my gosh, we should do this more often.
Yes.
That's what people say, and absolutely do not believe it or are sincere. No, we shouldn't do this more than just this one time.
No, that's right.
Good.
I'm good with this once a year, thanks.
Yeah, we're good with this once a year. It's all excellent.
If alcohol was outlawed, we'd be in a lot of trouble. We have another guest. This is going to get confusing. We've got Catherine Grubb back on. Welcome.
Thank you. It's really great to be here again.
Did you have a good Christmas break with your 4,000 kids that you've got?
I had a really lovely Christmas. Thank you for asking.
Do you get into the Christmas spirit? Are you one of those?
No. Oh no. Oh no.
Good.
I have a hard time with the false niceties too, and I have a hard time with the saying things you don't mean to, and then I freak out because I want my kids to have memorable Christmases. And I walked into it. I always get kind of freaky-outy about mid-November, Thanksgiving in the United States, but everything fell into place so beautifully this time. And I walked away going, man, this was like the best Christmas we ever had. So it was
awesome.
good. It was really good. I could do this again in a year without fretting. So
that's so not how I walk away from Christmas every year.
It's usually either. It's exceptional. This was an exceptional year. So I had a really nice.
Cool. Did you think about, I'm thinking about, because we had a good Christmas. So I was trying to back it out and say, okay, what was it that made it good? What were the things that could be repeated if we're lucky? Did you think of anything because you have 7, 12, 25 children? How many children do you
have? I have 5 children.
Okay. Okay. Right.
So, and the youngest just turned 10 and the oldest is 17. And so, there a lot of the responsibility they're happy to take, and they're really good. They have good attitudes. Like if they know that I need help, they're eager to chip in and help. So like the decorating is almost always on them and they love it. And so, but the shopping, none of them drive. And so I still have to drive. But as far as what I did differently, this is going to sound a little bit weird, but I had cut out some toxic relationships in my life over the last 12 months.
Okay.
And it made all the difference. It's like, who I'm not going to spend time with. And there's just
relatives. Did that include relatives?
Yes, that includes relatives.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I think that was part of it. I think it was just I'm not going to do it. It's not like this whole wrestle of what's expected of me, or am I doing it right, or will this make them happy? Not going to do it. So, and I
like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. It's too stressful. It's too hard. I never come away satisfied. I always feel like something's wrong, and they'll point the fingers at me. I'm just not going to be bothered. And it worked out, and because of that, I had already drawn that line in the sand. Like, I'm not even going to open envelopes from them. I'm not even going to answer phone calls. Nothing. And I made all the difference in how good our Christmas was. Well, I focused on who I loved.
My son said to me, he goes, "Oh, Dad, just get into the spirit."
It's hard times when you're, not a kid anymore, and you're the one responsible for the bills and the obligations and the pleasing of the others and the memories that it gets attached to it. It's tough. So yeah,
I don't know. And then and then you always get the one relative or the two relatives that they ask you what your kids want, and then you tell them, and then they give them a present that's like not related to that whatsoever, and they're like, "Well, I don't."
That happens. Yeah, that happens.
And so
too.
Coaching the boy in just nodding and going, "Oh, thank you for that."
Yeah, well, opportunities for our kids to learn to be gracious, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. To just suck it up, because it's like, okay, big guy, that this is it. So just say yes, thanks, Grandma.
Right. Thank you. It's lovely. I have one child that really has no filter, and I have to really watch her because she will frown and go, "What? What are you thinking?" And like in front of adults and stuff, and I have to like, no, you really mean thank you. It's exactly what I wanted, don't you? So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what I mean.
Yes. I can tell when mine's putting it on, because he'll look and go, "Oh, it's just what I've always wanted." I go, "No, it's not. It's a bouncy ball. What do you?"
But that's clever. Then, because my children were trained, in that area, because I agree with that. You have to be nice to the elderly people who were trying their best. But then we had to train them, or we encouraged to train them, is to temper the it's quote always what I wanted, because that will embed in their elderly grandparents' heads, and they will friggin' get that item until they're 35 years old.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So my youngest daughter, who's 10, just had this confused look on her face, like, really, Frozen stuff again? Really?
She's 10.
And she's clearly outgrown it, because she's really working on 16. So, like, just smile and say thank you, because,
that's all they know.
Yeah.
And I think I check in. So, at one point I had one son who was really into penguins, and so we would give him penguin stuff, and everything's cool, right? So I don't know, he was in his third year of grad school or something, and I texted him and I said, "Just to be sure, you're over the penguin thing, right? Because I don't want to keep doing this if you're done." He said, "Oh yes, please stop."
Oh, that is really interesting, because my son is into penguins too, and he's almost 12. And he's still tired of penguins. And he started at 2 years old, and now he's 12, and he can still go penguins all the way, And so I'm curious about this post-grad school.
It took us a while. I think he was over it before I was. So that's where that was coming from. So I had to text him and say, just because I've been on this end with my relatives when I was your age, how you doing with that? Should I just send you a check? And he did. He said, "Just send money. Really, it'll be great." Okay, I'll just send you money, kid.
Right.
I wish we got just penguins. I get the full backstory of Star Wars. Which, that's the other thing, because Star Wars came out. I don't really have any interest into it, but Julian is obsessed with it. I think it's an M-rated movie. They've rated it M here, so that's for mature audiences, probably up to 15 or so.
Things blow up. I mean, that's,
Yeah, and people say to me, "Oh, you're going to take him. You're going to take him." And I keep saying, I don't want to get the Parent of the Year award by walking into a cinema and saying, "Yeah, I'll have one adult thanks to Star Wars. And also, my 6-year-old would like to come in. Can I get a child's ticket for an M-rated film?"
Yeah, that can wait. Wait.
I sat next to little people. I had a lineup of little girls next to me, in Star Wars. And my husband and I are sort of looking at him like, okay, 6, 7, 8, right? They had to have little booster seats. That's your key. It's like, that means you're small. They were dead silent. They were completely riveted.
Really?
And I don't know if I agree with you. I don't know if a 6-year-old for some of those scenes would be super appropriate, but I'm not their parent. I brought the penguin loving child with us, and he's 29, so I think it's okay.
He's
Did he need a booster seat?
No, he did not need a booster seat.
The wife would. All right. Anyway, so what are we here to talk about today? Writing.
We are here to talk about Catherine's new workbook, and she can sprue all of her other books cheerfully. I don't mind, but she's talking about. She had an interesting workbook on Twitter, and I went through it, and I liked the approach, and I liked I like Catherine how you discussed how to manage Twitter in 10 minutes a day. So one of my questions is, or just to start out, could you tell us kind of the friendly approach? How do you figure out who you are on Twitter? Because I thought you had some good ideas about that.
Well, yeah, you can't really do anything on social media until you kind of know who you are and what you want. And Twitter is one of the easiest platforms to use as far as that goes. But the reason I wrote the book was because I see writers make the same mistakes over and over. And I wrote the book specifically for writers who want to use Twitter to grow their platform. And what I see, this is kind of the response to the mistake that I keep seeing. Okay. And so what I saw was authors in we're starting with the biography, and they're not telling me anything about themselves. So they'll say author of the Chronicles of Paisley, right. And an award-winning, blah, blah, blah. My agent, I'm represented by, blah, blah, blah. And that tells me nothing about them. Right. And it's in the first problem we have is that it's not you're not using social media for social reasons. You're using it as a resume builder or something. I think let's not do that. Let's come up with ways in your biography, nouns specifically, that I can ask questions for, that I can connect with you. So you're more than just an author, right? You might be a parent, or you might be in a specific club, or you might be fascinated with poodles, or you live in a certain part of the United States, or you're a Patriots fan, or something else that defines you that you and I can talk about. Because if you're going to sell, if you're going to use this for sales, which is what we do for writers, we want people to buy our books, we want to build a tribe based on relationships. And so that's the steps of this, where you need to know who you are so you can resonate with fresh readers. Does that make sense?
It made total sense. And why do you think, and maybe we all know the answer to this, but maybe our listener doesn't. Why do you think authors have such a hard time with that idea about being who they are? And I have 2 clients, 3 clients, 4 clients who this is a difficult conversation, because they're in the mode. It's like, well, I wrote a book and now everybody needs to know about the book, and I'm trying to back them up and say, no, actually they really want to know about you. So why is that so hard for us?
I think it's because we are in this shift of strategies in marketing and advertising. And I'm not a marketing expert, but I like to read about it. And so and I was reading a book about a year ago by Daniel Pink, and it was called To Sell is Human. And if we look at the history of advertising from the late 1880s to about the 1980s, it's all about pushing product. And you can push a product by describing the features of it.
Right.
You want my coffee because it's rich and it's full grown and it's from the Andes or whatever it is. Yes. So that's what draws us in, and there's been a big shift in that. And one of the causes of this is because the people who are growing the coffee, for example, were the experts on coffee, and they're teaching us about coffee, and we have to believe them. They have this authority. Well, in the information age, just changed all that. because authority now has been minimized. And so people who are experts in their products, I can find information about their product anywhere. I don't need them to be my authority. And so now we kind of level the playing field in our information about products. And you push it, so you've got this where I'm not going to be buying coffee from you because of the coffee. I'm going to be buying the coffee of you because I believe in you, or I believe in what you stand for, or you're free trade. Oh, or you do this thing with your workers that's really impressive. You've got something else going on besides really great coffee. Mm-hmm. It's changed, and it's changed in every single industry, and the way the marketing is working. The most profitable people, they have this personality, or they have a cause. And so writers are no different in that. And we also have the ease of publishing, which is unprecedented. And so now our competition is super high. And I can put out a book tonight if I wanted to. It wouldn't be very good, but I could publish it tonight. I could have it on CreateSpace and Kindle Direct tonight, and I would be in competition with millions of other books.
Right.
And what's going to make me stand out? Well, if all things being equal, let's say, for example, it is excellent, and I have a great title, or great cover. My design is excellent. My content is excellent. The only thing that's going to make it stand out is who I am and who knows me, really. It's not have nothing to do with the product anymore. And so I need to, I want my readers who know me, and we've had lots of conversations, and I am putting in my position instead of pushing my product, my new strategy now is to highlight them, find out what they like, get into conversations, starting engagement, become friends, invest in them with a long-term vision of this. And that's going to make the difference. They're not going to just buy my book, the first book, but if we're really tight and we have a great relationship, they will buy all my books from now on. And so I think a successful writer needs to have a long-term approach. And the best way to do this is through relationships. And if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you stand for, then you can't tell people. You've got to get beyond your product. You need to get down into the root of who you are and what you're going for.
It sounds like a rather painful dating process.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It is. If you're not exactly, because really, it is. We're wooing buyers. We're wooing readers.
Right. It's not like, don't be superficial and just go for how people look. Try to know yourself first, and then you'll find your true love, or whatever crap we were sold when we were younger. But it's like,
but it's true.
I have to do this.
Unfortunately, it's true. It really is. I'm sorry. It's so hard, but it's going to be hard. It's hard. And that's kind of, to me, it's like there's this. I'm drawing a line in the sand. Like, do you want people to buy your books 20 years from now? This really is the only way to do it. Mm-hmm. Unless you just lightning strikes for you in the right place, but I wouldn't count on it. No. You really need to build your tribe. And if you read Seth Godin, if you read Daniel Pink, if you read all of these big gurus about social networking and marketing, they're going to say the same thing. Build a tribe that will follow you to the end of the earth. And the first steps is knowing who you are and what you stand for.
So here's an offensive question. Why do we need another book on Twitter?
Offensive? Because I like Twitter. Because I could do one on Tumblr, but I would have to research it because I'm not on Tumblr. I could do one on Pinterest, but I haven't seen it take off for me like it has on Twitter. I picked Twitter because it was easy for me, and I saw how it was working for me. And so I run a Twitter chat every Thursday evening, Eastern United States time. Hashtag 10 Men Novelists. And I run a weekly chat, and I've met people. I have met more readers and made more friends through Twitter than any other way. And so that's why I chose Twitter.
Yeah.
It's fast, and I'm really good at writing a one-liner, and I just have a couple of people think I'm funny, and so
It's always nice.
It's a nice, it fits me as my personality well, as opposed to other. I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on whatever they are. Twitter works for me, so that's why I did it. I'd like perhaps to do other ones, but it would take some more work because I don't have the.
I did see a post somewhere, like in a side stream. I didn't bother clicking on it, but it said something about Twitter's thinking about increasing the amount of words that you can put into a tweet.
Yeah.
And it was something stupid. I saw a little flash comment like 10,000. That's crap. I don't know if that's right. I thought it might have been clickbait. But have you heard anything about this? That
I saw something like that too, and I kind of thought it was clickbait also. And I thought, well, that's just stupid because that would destroy the entire point of Twitter. That would be if they really if the corporate of Twitter decides to do that. It's like, oh, come on. I mean, what's the point? A tweet is meant to be read on your phone like a text.
Yeah.
That was the original intent. And short, sweet, to the point. And whatever. This is the mistake people make all the time. Oh, it's not broke, so let's fix it. Whatever you want to do. I don't know what that would look like, how it would change for me. But I've also learned that you don't put all your eggs in one basket with social media. And so, if Twitter decides to do this, I don't know what I'll do. I'll just move to something else and I'll figure it out myself. I'm not loyal to Twitter, and I just use it as a tool. And I'm happy to discard it if they're going to mess around with it. So,
are you working specifically? So, are you doing most of your social media through Twitter? Have you picked a favorite and focused?
I have Twitter and Facebook. Okay. And I use Facebook. Another mistake that authors make, and I'm going to have a lot of people disagree with me on this, is to create an author page. And I had an author page, and I disabled it because Facebook doesn't do any favors for authors. And so I had 400 followers, and I would have less than 5% of my followers actually see my postings. And it got to where I just it was, what's the point of putting so much work into it to have so little feedback and so little, they want you to pay for it, because if you boost your post and you pay $5, then you might get a little bump higher, not 100%. Oh no, you might get 15%. And I just thought, this is a scam. And so what I did instead was 2 years ago, I created a group, and it is called 10-Minute Novelists on Facebook. And I based the title off the book, Write a Novel in 10 Minutes a Day, because I wanted to market to people. I was trying to find my core group of people who were interested in the book itself. Mm-hmm. But then what happened, I didn't expect, was I was myself on the group. I have a structure. We do something different every day for writers. And like on Mondays was when we post our blogs. And then on Tuesdays, Buddy Day, if you need help with something, you can post your request there. Pitch us your work, tell us the kind of help you need. You need a critique or you need a proofread or whatever. People will help you. On Wednesdays, Author Happiness Day. So if you've got good news or you've got a new release or something, you post it then. We have our chat. We have 2 chats. We have 3 chats a week, 2 on Facebook and 1 on Twitter for this group. We had this. It's been going on for 2 years, and we have almost 1,700 people worldwide in this group. And I'm finding far more success with the engagement of readers and my tribe through the group on Facebook than I am in the author page. And what I do on Twitter, I use them together, Facebook and Twitter. So I'm on Twitter, I point to the Facebook group, because that's like I use this example in the Twitter book. If you're on Twitter, it's like you're standing in a football stadium and you're yelling and you're hoping somebody hears you. What Facebook is like going to your local restaurant, the group of friends, and everybody's kind of talking all at once. It's still loud and still obnoxious, but you're with a closer group of friends and you're a little more selected. So my goal is to move from this loudness of Twitter, the loud chaos crowd of Twitter, into the more intimate setting on Facebook. So I'll do that all the time. I'll meet people on Facebook and they read my bio, which has a lot of nouns that describe who I am, not just the author part, but the mommy part and the homeschooler part and the fact that I bake my own bread part and all this stuff. They ask me questions and I'll find out they're a writer. We talk for a little bit. I say, hey, and they'll say something like, well, how do you write books? How do you write books when you've got all those kids? And I was like, well, I use 10 minutes at a time. Hey, I have a book on Facebook called 10-Minute Novelist. Would you be interested in joining us? Because we have a lot of fun over there. And they say, yes, send me the link. And then they join my group. And then I get to know them better and they engage with my friends. And I have a staff of volunteers that helps me moderate it.
Okay,
and,
good.
So it's kind of a funnel thing from Twitter into Facebook. And then Facebook, because Facebook gives you more freedom to have long conversations and more than 140 characters.
Right.
And so to me, it's like there's two different tools and we're using for the same goal.
Okay.
So I think that, it's not, I could have just as easily done this with other platforms, but it just happened that those two fit me really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing is I get a bit annoyed if I follow someone and I get an instant message saying, thanks for the follow. Please send me to Facebook. Like, what the hell?
There is nothing. This is the biggest mistake that authors make. You should never, ever, ever do this. This is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. If you want a long-term relationship, you want to build a tribe, you never meet someone and then ask them for something. It's like going to a cocktail party and you're introducing to people and then you pull out your wallet and you open it up and you say, will you give me money? And then you go to the cocktail party, next person. Hey, my wallet is empty. Would you give me money? And it's like, who invited this guy? No, we're not here for that. We're supposed to be asking each other questions. We're supposed to be engaging with each other. Put your wallet away.
Yeah.
Don't, no. If I think it's a big mistake, and people think it works because they watch other authors do it, but it doesn't work. It turns off way more than it turns on. I do this. They see this too. I follow writers because that's my target market, and so I like that. I follow them on Twitter. I'll get the instant message, my DM, like, hey, you'll probably, if you like this, you'll probably like this. No, I won't, delete. Like my Facebook page. No, thank you. I know hundreds of writers. I can't like everybody's Facebook page. No.
Yeah, it would take all your time.
No, you're taking. If you're in a position where you're putting this instant stuff out, will you do this for me? Now that we've met, will you do this for me? Now that we've met, will you do this for me? You're taking. And that's not the economy we have anymore. You have to give. You have to give first. You talk. You give first. Ask them about their kids. Oh, it says in their bio they're a parent. Ask them about how are your kids. Because who doesn't talking about their kids, right? Or ask them about, hey, I noticed you write fantasy. Tell me about your fantasy book. Or, hey, you're a bake. You like to bake bread. Tell me, I like to bake bread too. What do you do? What recipes do you do? Or why do you homeschool? Or these that you're engaging, you're giving, you're being generous. If the writers who are going to succeed in this economy are the ones who understand this and are willing to put the time in to make it work.
What do you say to people who, let's say you get writers who have their let's say they say, okay, I'm going to ditch my author's page and now I'm going to start a group, and so they started up their group and it's them. They are a group of one. No one wants to join their group. I mean, I feel like we're back in junior high where you're the last person picked for dodgeball. How do you have any suggestions for an author starting out? Is like, how do you do that outreach without being, A, swarmy, as we just talked, or B, super pathetic? Will you be my friend? How would you tell people to manage that?
Well, it's like a few steps backward. Don't start a group yet until you know exactly why you're starting a group. And I think that if even for fiction writers, looking at our themes of our fiction and figuring out how we're resonating with our readers, because stories that are going to last are stories that touch us. And what is it in your book that makes a difference? So say you're writing about PTSD, for example, because I have a friend who does that. Then you need to create a group that encourages people who have PTSD, because that's going to give to them. It's not about you. If you're going to create a group, it should not be about you. It should be about them. What can you do to give to them? And then, and ask around. I started my group, but I asked my friends, like, okay, if I did this, and I had broke my leg and I couldn't do anything, and my kids were taking care of me, and I knew I was going to be on my bottom for a while with my leg up in my laptop, and well, I might as well create a group, So your first step is to fall down the stairs, really.
Oh, okay, good. I asked my wrist. I'm with that. No falling for me.
Right. Okay. So I asked my writer friends, what would you think if I created a group about my book, Write a Novel in 10 Minutes a Day? And I also did it a year before my book came out. And see, I really think that fiction writers need to think seriously about what nonfiction they can write. I think you should give it a thought. Some people are like running, screaming from the idea of writing nonfiction. But, I don't know. I think from a long-term marketing standpoint, building a tribe around the nonfiction would be better for you, and you could slip into connecting your fiction. I think it's a strategy to consider. And like whatever it is. So say your fiction touches on PTSD, you start talking to people about who have this, who are associated with this. Hey, if I start a group, would you sign up? Because that's when you call in your favors, your close friends. And you get 10, 15 people in. And then you have to come up with a plan to keep them to coming back.
Okay.
Because you're going to give. So you got to figure out, how can I give to them? Well, if you've got PTSD, for example, you might talk about techniques that would help people deal with it when they are triggered. Practical tips. And you might have today we might start a chat. Today we're going to talk about, what we do when we're in the grocery store and have an anxiety attack. Who wants to lead this and who's got a thought? But you're not looking to put the spotlight on you. You're looking to put a spotlight on them, because everybody wants a community. Everybody has a need to be connected. And if you can connect with somebody, then you've got the roots of a community, and keep looking for opportunities to give. And and then be patient, because it might not click. And we, in my group, I decided I didn't want it to be commercial. I knew the danger. I know these writers. Put them in a group. You put them in a group and you tell them this is about writing, and the next thing you're going to have are commercials. Hey, my romance is 99 cents today on Kindle. Yes. Yeah. This vampire romance is free. I didn't want that, because I see too much, and I just had this flat out rule. We don't do sales. No sales. No self-promotion in the group. None. And that's me, included. Oh, but the point is to sell my books. Okay, well, we have it on Wednesdays. There's one window you're allowed to do that, but you can't do it. And everybody knows when it is. And if you mess up and you do it the wrong day, we gently point you to the right day, unless you're a pill, and then we kick you out. So,
what about negativity in social media? And I point to me. I may have left a comment on a YouTube video that there was a gentleman being interviewed that was clearly very Australian, because we got the Aussie accent, and the description said American so and so, and I went, how can he be American? He's got an Australian accent. That exploded. At the moment, there's 50 hate comments, which I thought was fantastic. They're now arguing amongst themselves about.
That's so easy.
Yeah, they're arguing between someone else and two others about racism and how the Chinese are this and that.
Right.
That's not even relevant. But I then thought I had a choice to make. Do I respond to this or do I walk away? Can we have a guess what I chose?
I don't know you very well, but I'm going to say you responded.
Look,
I know him well. He responded.
I walked away for a little bit, and while I thought about how I would respond, and I decided that I would put a link to a certain video made by Rick Astley. So I Rick-rolled them, and I put it. I said, "Look,
in some circles, it's very antagonistic."
I know. So they're all arguing. I said, "Guys, can we stop arguing?" I found a video where he says explicitly that he's Australian, and then I linked the Rick-roll video.
Oh golly!
And I just sit back with the popcorn.
Exactly.
And that's fine. I can muck around. That's a completely unrelated thing to what we do here with Newbie Writers. But if I got that through Newbies, and I've had a few abusive things directed at me about the site and that sort of stuff. I tend to just report them. What is the best way of doing it? Should I be that snarky so and so and have a go at them? Isn't it my right?
Well, it's tough because if your purpose is to build a tribe and to have people look to you and to eventually have a bunch of raving fans who will always buy what you have to say, moves like that are risky because you risk alienating people who really, really love you. And so everybody's different. And I also think you got to be really careful. And so I would see if it were me and I were in those shoes, I would have just like opened up a fresh document, vented on paper, typed really, really hard, maybe told my closest friend what happened, and then dropped it and just walked away.
If you're a tribe leader, let's put it into a tribe concept. Wouldn't you just reach your arm out and put the thumbs down, and then they would be dragged off and, I don't know, hung off a cliff?
And it's kind of... it kind of depends on the situation. To me, that seems the whole Rickroll Australian. That's pretty benign. I mean, in some context, there's been times when people have gotten far more hateful and far more upsetting, threatening situations. And if you can, YouTube is pretty public. It's not your site, and it's not. So you've got some freedom there. It's not really your yard. It's like you went to the public playground. And this happened.
And you exposed yourself.
Yeah. If it's your yard, like my group on Facebook is my yard. And I've got rules about negativity and hateful comments and people baiting each other. And we've pulled people to the side and sent them private notes and said, I don't think that what you're saying is very helpful. So either take down what you just said or consider if this is a good fit for you, because we're not going to tolerate this. And we've had people who said, "Oh, sorry, I will take it down. You're right." And we've had people that just tore into us and say, if this isn't free, then I'm leaving or something, because they thought that because Facebook is free, then my group is free. No, it's not. It's my art.
Yeah, I did have someone attack me personally through our page. And I just, I reported it. That was fine. But they can get pretty creative, which I do like. And you got to kind of, harbour that a little bit where I think they use... One of the cleanest one I can respond, shout out to was they said, "Oh, you're a twat." And I thought, what a brilliant term. I love that term. You twat.
Well, really, they're grasping at straws. Name calling is like, well, this is when I don't know how to articulate that I'm acting like a spoiled brat, so I'm just going to call you a name.
Now,
and makes me feel better. And
because they flooded a number of my posts and that sort of thing, it was just like, report, and then just did a group delete. That was fine. But if one person on one post had responded to me going, "You are a twat," a little part of me would respond with, "But you're a poo-poo head."
Yeah, I think that it takes some the more public. We want readers, we want followers, we want hits, we want these big numbers, and the bigger you get, the more of a target you are.
Right.
And you kind of need to have a default plan. What happens when? Because it's going to happen. It's a matter of time. And a couple of things you need to do is like not respond in an impulsive way. Give it a minute. Give it an hour. You see, hey, you're a twat, or you did this, or I hate it when you blah blah blah, or worse. Give it a couple of times, have somebody you can vent some ideas off of. How do you think I should handle this? And I have a team of volunteers that help me run my Facebook group, and we have a private Facebook group just so for instances like this. This happened. How should we handle it? And and having this is another reason why community is so important for writers, because it is easy to get defensive when it's our babies, our books being talked about, or we get a bad review, or we're misunderstood, or something. And if I don't know, I think it takes some wisdom to handle it, but because it's going to happen.
Is it wrong to passively aggressively riff on your co-host, knowing that they're on the other side of the world, so they're not going to respond for 12 hours because they may be asleep and I'm in Twitter having a bit of fun?
They may be asleep. Hello.
Yeah, that's another nice thing about World Wide Web is that our friends are all over the world. They can't get us, really. They can't touch us.
You're so funny. And my response looked so lame because it was so far. It was like 12 hours later, she sees it.
I know. Because we've been having some Twitter banter, and I can give a shout out now. I know we do shout outs at the end to Rob, who he's probably not going to hear this for another 2 months because he's a bit nuts. Let's be honest. He's listening to every single one of our episodes from episode 1 all the way through. And
we love him.
We do.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Yeah, totally.
And I'm running commentary, which is great. But then I'm also throwing in things like, Catherine is. And she doesn't get to respond for like 12 hours. It's fantastic.
Nope.
I think
we can deal with that between us.
You're going to wake up. This is why I do it, right? So I think you're going to wake up and you might have your phone there and you're having your coffee and you open and you go, oh, I've got Twitter notifications. Oh, it's Damien. And it's that little bit of disappointment that just comes in.
No, it's much more like, what has he done tonight while I slept?
So that's why I like Twitter. And then Catherine says to me, what can we do, when it comes to social media, what can we do more? And a little part of my brain says, maybe I should just stop. That might be a bit more beneficial. I don't know. It's good.
We will figure it out. So, hey, do you want to do, speaking of Twitter and all that kind of good stuff, do you want to do word of the week? We can do,
but just quickly, the other Catherine, where can we find all of your books, all your stuff, other than the Facebook group?
You can go to Amazon.com or Amazon Australia, and you will see my Write a Novel in 10 minutes a day. You'll see Conquering Twitter in 10 minutes a day, which is always 99 cents. Download. You can see my novel that I released in August called Soulless Creatures, which is not about vampires, and my debut novel, which is Falling for Your Madness, a romantic comedy, all on Amazon.
I do have a quick question about the Soulless Creatures. Because the blurb I've got says about 2 college freshmen in 1986 who bet a new car that one of them doesn't have a soul. Now, that's very specific. What happened to you in 1986 that you felt you needed to write a fiction book?
That's funny you should ask. Because these kids are freshmen at the University of Oklahoma. And I was a freshman at the University of Oklahoma in 1986. So you can do the math if you want.
No, because then it becomes even more offensive, Catherine. Because, and I'll let you know this, in 1986 I was 3. Anyway, carry on.
We don't go there, that's why.
Well, I loved my college life. I was at the University of Oklahoma for 6 years, and I loved it. It was a very rich time of my life, and I wanted to revisit it. And because in my head, it's a great city. That town, Norman, Oklahoma, is a great town, and so I thought I could write about it. But I thought, well, I could write. I wrote this book in 2013. I could write 2013 Norman, Oklahoma, but then I'd have to read. I don't live there. I don't even live in that part of the country. Researching what it's like now sounds like a lot of work. And so I just took the lazy way out, and I went back to 1986, what I remembered. And so it was more fun, actually, because then I got to put the cars and the music and the clothes and all the jokes about how we have to walk to the library to do our research. And, you're using the push tone phone that's on the wall in your dorm room. Yeah. And the cassette tapes in your car that you have to roll with pencils and all those things we did that were funny. And I thought people of my age who are in their
20s
are we might appreciate the little throwback to that.
So it's
that's
not
a good
like
idea.
it's not like Dude, Where's My Car, but like Dude, Where's My
No.
Soul, and I've got a car.
That's really good.
Oh.
Exactly.
Right. Check it out. I haven't read it. I probably should.
It's fun. It's a really fun book. I really liked writing it.
Well, I'd hope so.
Yeah. Well, some books are sad and tragic, and this is not. It's fun.
Yeah, but it'd be a bit pointless if you were on our show going, I hated every step of that book. It's out there.
Hate writing. It just happened accidentally. Don't say that.
Well, there are those writers who are a little bit dark and dismal, and
That's not me.
That's not me either. So I like to write fun things and have fun writing. So
that's a better attitude. We like that better too.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to tribe building.
Mm-hmm.
If you are going to be dismal and dark, and we speak with an emotional currency, and if we're giving to build a tribe, our tone and what we say is important. And I think you need to be really careful what kind of emotions you are going to want to be known for in your brand. So if you're going to be this grumpy, curmudgeon, hate everybody in the whole world, and you don't have anything nice to say, you're not going to grow a lot of followers. And there are probably going to be plenty of people who there are people who might disagree with me, and they'll say, "Oh, well, we can point to plenty of famous authors who are like that." Well, don't look for them for the exception. You're starting at ground zero. So put a smile on your face and be attractive.
No, be a Scrooge.
People will want to follow you and want to talk to you if you're positive. It's not rocket science.
I'm going to leave that there because I don't agree with that whatsoever.
I don't think he's going to be in charge of our tribe right now.
Well,
I'll be the executioner, can I?
Yes, you can be the executioner. I will bring you on special. That will be how we
go. There you go.
Yeah. Plus, it's not about numbers, is it? Really? Does it really matter if you've got 1,500 versus, I don't know, 20,000?
Why are you doing this? That every author needs to know. Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Or answer that question. Why are you there? Yeah.
Why are you putting all this effort? Is it just for the sake of the art? That's great. Go for it.
Yeah.
Or is it because you want to engage with people? Good. That's great too. That changes your strategy. Or is it because you want to be rich and famous? That's good too, but you need to be realistic about that.
You need to be a plumber if you want to be rich and famous. The writing's not going to get you there.
No, not in this market. It's not. So.
Nope. All right. Well, let's do a word of the week.
Word of the week.
Now, you have come out cracking at the start of the year for 2016. I like this one. I was expecting it just to be we're in the drinking and party mode, so word of the week would just be no, this one I can't even pronounce. Gaudiamus? Gaudiamus.
I think it's Gaudiamus. Like Gaudy Day.
A convivial gathering or I should have read the meaning. Gathering or merrymaking of students at a college or university.
See?
There you go.
Just like Catherine's book.
Just like my book. I should have put the blurb on the back.
Totally.
So, is that the really polite, naive way of saying that's a college party?
Yeah, that's probably what they write in police reports.
They use those words.
When they arrest the underage. See, in the United States, you can't drink until you're 21, supposedly, legally. So I don't know how it is in Australia, but
well,
people
18.
do get arrested. Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah. 18 and no guns. We work perfectly.
That works better for me. That totally works better for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Should we do a tortured sentence?
Yes.
Next time, don't put the wrong emphasis on the right syllable.
All right. First tortured sentence for the year, and it's not mine. Which is weird.
Nope. It's not yours.
Actually, we should go through our book. Don't write like we talk, and see if there's any tortured sentences of mine that can end up in our show. That'd be weird.
Oh, that would be weird. We could do that.
I could
Although
say-
I'm not ready to comb through it quite yet. But yeah, we definitely could think about that.
I could say to you, Catherine, where did this tortured sentence come from? And you can say, you! And you...
You!
all right. So
And
this,
the editor totally was not amused.
this looks like a bad email. Where did this come from?
One of my students from a class long, long gone.
So but the stage that you have to take into account while covering is that should your cell large in less than herpes, then you can only cover yourself in case your bulk is bigger than the virus. This mass that is greater than the herpes virus will be minimized. Okay. That was our
It's
public...
not even just STDs. It's about horrible run-on sentences.
That's just bad.
I know.
But it doesn't make sense, really.
No.
It doesn't make any sense at all. And in fact, I couldn't even unpack what the student was trying to go for. Usually I can figure it out because I can put it in context and it's like, oh, all right, this is where you were sort of going. But this one, I could not figure it. I couldn't figure out why we wrote all those words in the same sentence. So I thought that was a good bad sentence.
Well, okay. What was the topic that they had to write about?
I don't even remember.
I
That
hope
was
it's
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago in many parties for me.
I'm just hoping it's something completely irrelevant. Like,
Candy. They were writing about candy. And that's what
Right.
yeah,
They're writing about something where that was going to be their tortured metaphor, and it didn't quite work out either.
Yeah.
or just something even further beyond, like, how did the founding fathers of America deal with such and such, and how did they come up with a constitution? And then this person comes out with, well, herpes.
That would be funny.
They all had herpes. That's why they sat down and wrote your, yeah.
They said founding fathers, herpes. Got it. Let's go with that.
Because I know when you're conquering a country, you need to make sure you're herpes free.
Not really.
Come on, you don't want to be.
You're just going to share the love and wipe out the native population. Come on.
You don't want to be giving mouth ulcers to the Indians and indigenous people. That's not fair.
That's right.
Sorry for the mouth ulcers. Here's a casino. Now,
Yeah, right. That's basically. Yeah. Sorry about the measles and the mumps. We're really, we're sorry.
now, let's do a prompt. Let's kick people off in case they're still hungover.
Okay, so here's our prompt to start off the new year. The party season is over. Are you sad or relieved?
Relieved, I'm back at work.
What I thought so. What is it about a big party that thrills you, and what is it about a party that terrifies you? When a terrified party guest meets a thrilled party guest at the banquet table, what do they discuss?
We kind of had. I've been through this only recently. Wedding, and you always get that person like, "Hey, how are you?" Like, hot. It's warm out here. I'm in a suit. And look at you.
Man of few words, which is not helpful to that person saying, "Hey, how are you?"
I'm awesome, thanks. I have sweat in places you don't even want to explore. It's still
That
not.
would be original.
Yeah.
That would be, and I've gone to this wedding. Why is it that people get married in these incredibly hot weather? Like, because I've done that too, where it's like I spent one wedding, and I think it was in a similar setup as the one you were attending, where it was out in the field because that's where everybody could fit, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like clutching. I'm along the side, the one little piece of shadow along the barn wall, and I've like slammed myself up there. It looked like a vampire trying to stay out of the sun, but it's like so hot that you couldn't stand in the sun. And there's the bride and groom. Oh, look, everybody's here. We're like, oh my God, we're going to die.
At least, the groom was wearing a kilt, so he had airflow.
There you go. That works. Our groom was not. They were wearing jeans, so you can imagine.
Oh. Catherine, do you like big parties?
Sometimes I do. Oh, are you talking to me?
Oh, yeah, you're our guest. Oh my word. K1 and K2. Well,
I have 5 children, and so I've gotten used to the idea of a big party because my life is a big party. So
Do you go to parties to relax? Is that what you're...
I go to parties to escape.
There we go. That makes sense.
see, I don't know, with kids' parties, and I think, as my boy's getting a bit older, we're a little bit beyond that now. They're becoming a bit smaller, only a few friends come around. But early on, you'd spend every weekend going to his friends' parties, and without fail, one kid always vomits.
Yeah. Well, I don't like the whole business of the first birthday party.
Oh, Lord.
Especially if you're in a group in a community where everybody's baby is turning about the same age, and so I just think you can get a little over the top with that because the baby doesn't remember it anyway. And so we've got grandparents close by, and so we have a kind of like when they were really small, it was just tight family because they're not hurting for toys, especially if they're a younger sibling, not hurting for toys, don't really need anything. We're just going to have cake and dinner or whatever and have fun. But I have 3 children who have birthdays in January.
Oh.
And so if you guys want cake, can you come over and eat my cake?
Sure.
We have one on the 4th, we have one on the 14th, and we have one on the 29th.
Oh.
And so, yeah. So they're not even like smashed together, they're spread out.
Yes,
So we kind of like rotate it. Who gets the party this year with your friends? Because not all 3 of them can. And then my husband does something special with the boys who turned 12. And so my younger son turned 12 this year. He already got his thing, his special day trip with dad, doing man things. And so, so that leaves my 14-year-old son. So he's going to have a party with his friends, but the teenagers can just throw their own party. I don't have to, as long as they clean up their mess, they're good. And so I don't have to be totally we're kind of getting some sort of cycle.
I look forward to those teenage years where it's like, hey, it's your birthday, what do you want to do? And it'll be, I don't know, play Call of Duty, have my mate around. Like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, and my older kids have mutual friends, and so it's our friends are getting together, and it's not her friends and her friends. We're all hanging out together, and and they're all really frugal kids. They let's just go to the park and dress like superheroes and have cake. And I go, okay, let's do it. And so that's what they did, So I'm happy to do that.
And it depends on the child. So I had, mine were little. I would have friends who, I had one friend who had girls. And so she would create these elaborate parties. And, we'd have the elf would come and the magic, the magic show. And my boys would take one look because they were, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
There's no sitting at that age. And so they would take one look at the elf and say, sounds good, we'll be in the back. And so I didn't have to worry about that because they weren't going to sit still for it. We just ran them around, ate some cake, and sent them home. We were good.
Yeah. I'm all about the frugal, simple party. Yeah. And I don't feel like my kids have missed out on anything by not having a pony,
No.
I think you should embarrass, though, your 14-year-old.
I could, I suppose.
I think if they've got friends around, you should just come out, I don't know,
baby
wrapped in a dressing gown and a towel on your head with a cake.
Well, we had a few friends over for New Year's Eve, and my daughter got her first boyfriend, and she's 16, and he was coming over and to part of this. He's a really great kid, and I really like him. And anyway, so we knew they were coming, and I wanted to take a quick shower, and so I'm running upstairs, and I'm going to be out and down before the kids show up. And the last words I hear before I get in the shower is, please dry your hair before you come down. Okay.
Nope.
I will.
If you want it that bad, not going to happen.
They're so picky at that age.
I know.
So picky. Are you going to wear that?
Yeah.
You should deliberately slip with eyeliner, so it's a line that goes down or up, and it's like...
If I didn't like him so much, I might, but I really like him. So I'm like, well, if he was like really bad biker gang
At 14,
drug addict, tattooed, then I would really do it because I'd want to scare him away. But I like him a lot. So
Oh, that was nice of you to not totally blow your daughter's love life out of the water.
Right, because I'm sure there'll be more opportunities in the future.
Yes, there will be.
glad I got a
Yes,
son.
there will be.
So I'm trying to keep, play my cards strategically. When I need to do that, I will. So
Got to be pick your battles. You know that you have 5 of them. You don't have any energy to fix. You can't do all of them. That would be a bad idea.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
on that happy note, where we do parenting / tribes, which I guess is the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah, I really feel like, I know not everybody's going to agree with this statement, but I think raising 5 children has taught me more about building a tribe than anything I've ever done.
Sounds like it, actually.
It has. It's like, this whole give and take, learning how to meet people's needs, learning how to communicate, being organized, knowing what your limits are. I feel like my training as a mother has trained me to engage with writers and lead a tribe.
Right.
So go have babies.
Yes. So there you go. After 1 hour of this show, we can say, if you wish to be successful on social media, have lots of children.
And break your ankle.
Yes. Breaking your ankle. This is my part of my grand plan to take over the world.
I'm going to get into social media. Break a leg. Already did.
Done. Check.
All right. Well, is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Oh, well, I would like to shout out to my lovely Facebook group, 10 Minute Novelists, and my admin team that helps me run it smoothly. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. The other Catherine, anyone else?
No, just mine is happy New Year and start writing. This is a brand new year, and we, for what, if you believe in it or not, doesn't matter. It's an opportunity to start again. So drag out the old manuscript, drag out what you might have abandoned way back in October, and take another look.
There you go. Well, I'll shout out to Rob, gave him a shout out before, and to Kelly Hatley, who followed me yesterday and said that she liked our website. So that's good. At least we're doing something right.
Thank you,
Hi,
Kelly.
Hi, Rob. Glad to have you.
Love to have you. Come on board. All right. And then you can follow Catherine Grubb too. She's probably got more, what's the appropriate content. We don't do enough cat videos, though. We should do some cat videos. All right. So that'll do it. Who have we got on next week?
Jeff Michaels, an author, and we will talk to him about the mysterious process of course, authoring, because that's what we do.
Authoring. I'm an author. All right. Well, until next week. We'll see you then.
Until next.
Your book starts here on the Newbie Writers Podcast.